It's me, Robin, with Simple Food, Simple Life. Guess what day it is? It's Friday. And that means Friday Confab. Yay! Oh, silly granny. Got your coffee, got your tea, got your Coca-Cola, got your Dr. Pepper, got your hot chocolate. One person said they had a beer. Salud! That's awesome. I'm so glad to see everybody. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Well, we got through another whole week. That's pretty awesome, I think, don't you? I think it's good that we got through a whole week. We had some bad storms here. Oh, I hated to see them come, but we did need the rain too, so that makes a big difference, I think. I had a big thing happen to me yesterday. I turned 75. It was my birthday. Oh my gosh, 75. My older daughter said, that's 3/4 of a century old. That's worth celebrating. So she drove all the way here and took me to lunch and brought me some carrot cake. I was surprised. I didn't know she was coming. We went to, excuse me, we went to a local Japanese restaurant and it was really good. And while we were in there, an older lady, there was to digress, there on the other side of the restaurant, there was a family group celebrating somebody's birthday. And I know this because they sang happy birthday. And then the elderly lady, the grandma of the group, she had gone to the back. She went to the bathroom, was going to the bathroom, and or had gone. And right shortly after that, my daughter got up. She went to the restroom, and something odd started happening, and she didn't come back. My daughter didn't come back right away, and then another woman from the birthday party ran back to the little hallway where the restrooms were, and she ran back there, and then she ran out and she grabbed a chair and she carried the chair back to this hallway. And my daughter still had not come back, and I thought, something's not right. Something must be going on. So I waited and waited. She still didn't come back, and then other people began to gather in the door of this little hallway to the bathrooms. And I thought, somebody's sick, somebody's in a bad way. And people were I could see that the wait staff was concerned about what was going on back there as well. So I called my daughter on the phone. She didn't answer. And then I asked the waitress, would you please go back and check? And told her what the thing was. And I said, my daughter's name is Tina. And so she went back and she asked. And then I heard Tina's voice. And she says, oh, yeah, tell her, everything's okay. And what had happened was the older lady, the grandma, went back to the restroom. She had evidently come out, and when Tina went back to the restroom, she saw the lady in that little hallway leaning against the wall for support. Well, my daughter is in healthcare. She's a speech pathologist, and her focus is nursing in elderly patients and or patients with who've had strokes, swallowing difficulties. She works in several nursing homes. She goes from place to place, and she specializes in these patients with these difficulties. So she's around elderly every day. And she's even had, she's been in the process of evaluating a patient or a resident in a nursing home, and they've had a stroke while she's evaluating them, or they'll have a health crisis. So she's not unfamiliar with those things. And so she was trying to assist this lady, and the daughter who had come back there, she seemed at a loss as to what to do, and so Tina said, get a chair, let's get her sit down. And because she was sinking, and she went to the floor, and then they somehow were able to get her up and get her seated on this chair. So anyway, she was able to assist the family and recommended they call 911 because they weren't sure if it was just a spell she was having. And but Tina said she felt like she was probably having a heart attack. And so she was able to assist them. They called 911, and they came and were able to take care of the situation. And the family said they thanked her profusely and said they were just so thankful that she was there. Because she was not unfamiliar with those situations, and she knew what to do until help could get there. So I thought, well, how serendipitous that she had surprised me to spend time with me on my birthday and take me to this restaurant. And then in that restaurant, her help was needed. And I thought, who would have thought that? So I'm so glad for that. The woman's name was Polly, and so we even said a little prayer for Polly that she would be well, not knowing how she is today. But anyway, the Lord has a way of putting you in the right place at the right time. And so it was good. It was, but I had a great day. And but when my daughter said to me, "That's 3/4 of a century. You've lived 3/4 of a century," I was like, "Oh, I guess I have." And it was like, I don't even know. I don't know what to think about that. I am grateful for every single day that I have. I really am. And I have to say that in my life, I have seen a lot of trouble. I've had a lot of sorrow, and but I've had a lot of joy, and I've had a lot of happiness. I've had those joyful moments that live in the mind and the heart for the rest of your life. And those are the things I believe that are able to sustain you as you go throughout your life and live it to its conclusion, at least in this world anyway. So I was thinking about that. At the age of 75, having been born on June 5th of 1950, which the Korean War, we got into the Korean War. The Korean War started in June of 1950. I think it was the 5th. D-Day was on the 6th of June, I believe. And a lot of things happen in June. I don't know if it's because of the weather is better then. I really don't know. I don't know. But I noticed a lot of historical things happen in June. But I was born in 1950. I was born in Vincennes, Indiana. which is the oldest city in Indiana. It was settled by the French too, by the way. Very historic place, very historic. And my parents lived in Illinois, so they zipped over to Indiana to have me at the hospital, and then zipped back. And then I spent many of my primary years, what I consider my formative years, in Indiana, in the Midwest. So I think I've always considered myself a Hoosier. Some of you, if I've considered myself anything, some of you may have noticed I have it's like a wooded and painted Hoosier map of Indiana on my wall back here. And it is, I should show it to you. See it there? Back home again in Indiana. Do you know that many well-known poets and authors are from Indiana? It's true. Maybe because there's nothing else to do in Indiana. Except write. When I was a kid in Indiana, we used to have this wonderful teacher. When I was in 4th and 5th grade, he taught us in both of those grades. Was Mr. Lane, and of course he was young then. And one of the things that we did was memorization. So we memorized poetry, an assigned poem, and then we would have to recite it in front of the class. I dearly loved that, and I think that he, by exposing me to those things, he fostered in me a love of reading, a love of poetry. And one of the poets that he introduced us to was James Whitcomb Riley, who was from Indiana. And James Whitcomb Riley, when he would write his poems, he wrote them in the dialect of the then state of Indiana, where at the particular place where he was from. And so it was fun because I remember he had us memorize the poem Little Orphan Annie, or Little Orphant Annie, and it was so much fun because we had to memorize the poem in the dialect of the poem. So it was kind of a challenge, but it was so much fun. And I loved it so much. And loved him because he was a great teacher. He was very wise in that after recess, and if you remember back in the day, kids would come in from recess and they would be a little bit crazy because they were wound up from being outside. And after recess, he read to us. So we all got, drinks of water from the fountain, and we sat at our desks, and we could lay our head on our desk and, just rest. And he would read us the next chapter in a book. He was always reading a book, one chapter at a time. And we loved that so much. And if there was a book that we liked or asked him to read many times, he would read that book to us. Sometime before that, my siblings and myself were given a book by our neighbors, and it was called Bears of Blue River, and it was actually about the frontier of Indiana. And it was a great book. I read it, I loved it, and I brought it to school, asked him if he would read it, and he did. And it was wonderful to hear him read it because he was so good at it. He went on he moved to California, and I looked him up here a while back, and he was professor emeritus, retired. He was had been at Ball State College in Muncie, and spent his career there, and eventually came back from California to Indiana, and where he was from originally, and he continued to teach English literature. And I saw a picture of him, and he looked the same, except he was old and gray, but he still had his glasses, and he looked the same. And just a couple of years ago, he passed away. And I always blessed him in my heart for instilling in me the love of poetry, the love of reading, and it has meant a great deal to me, and it actually changed my life. It enhanced my thinking, and also became a refuge for me to go to those places. And I have some favorite poets that I could read their poems over and over again and feel better, and write poetry myself and feel better. So even though, especially back then, people thought you were kind of a weird kid, but that's okay. I don't care. I'm fine with that. But I was thinking about how privileged I am to be 75, to be this age. So many of my extended family have not lived as long as I have. So many have died very young, and much younger than I am now. And I feel privileged. I feel blessed. That is more the right word, I think. I feel blessed to be here and experience life for whatever that holds for me, and to spend time with you guys. Really, I feel blessed. I was going to show you this. When I had my 13th birthday, we lived in Cortez, Colorado at the time. And we just lived there for a very short while. I never went to school there. But I did have my 13th birthday in Cortez, Colorado. And then subsequently, we moved back to Illinois. And when I was in Illinois, then I went into 8th grade when we moved back to Illinois. So I have this picture of my older brother. He is actually the oldest in our family of 6 siblings, and he was 11 years older than me. So I'm going to show you. This is a picture of my brother Jim and myself at my 8th grade graduation. I had not yet, I was still 13. I think graduation was in May. And anyway, this was my older brother. Let's see if I can show you. This is my older brother and myself at my 8th grade graduation. I don't know who that unknown person is in the background. But my brother Jim was 11 years older than me, and I pretty much adored him. He was a wonderful big brother to me. And so that is us together. Look at there. I've got white gloves on because, okay, it was 8th grade graduation. Come on now, it was 1963, and in 1963, how did we dress in those days? We dressed like that. Anyway, my handsome brother. My brother died when he was 58 of a heart condition, and I've never, I still miss him. I do. I still miss him. And I think I probably always will miss him. I will. Wasn't he handsome? He was handsome. When he was a teenager, my older sister and I were younger. Girls would come to our house and want to know if he was home. Is Jim home? And of course, he was hardly ever home. I think only when he had to be, because and we knew they wanted him to be their boyfriend, and which was of great benefit to my older sister and I, because they would try to get close to us, and then that way they could see Jim. And we got ice cream cones and stuff. And actually rooted for some of them because they were very nice. Especially one, she was very nice and very sweet. We loved her. But yeah, it is kind of funny when I think back on that. So anyway, 75. Well, who knew? Who knew? I just feel I'm feeling better. Some of you have asked. I feel better. I'm feeling a little bit better every day. The only thing I have is with this, the shingles and it's like I get tired very easily. I feel fatigued, and it's weird because I can be going along and doing pretty good and doing stuff, and then boom, it's like you hit the wall and the fatigue sets in. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to sit or tip back in the recliner or something in order to feel better. But I did go to the chiropractor on Wednesday. Oh, thank you, Lord, for the chiro. Oh my goodness. And that, I have to tell you, that absolutely helped immensely. Immensely. So I'm able to get back on my regular chiropractic treatment schedule, and that feels awesome. It feels awesome for me. So I just hope you guys are doing great, and I hope you're all well above all else, because when you feel like garbage, life is not fun, is it? So, well, I don't know what the next 3/4 of a century, what's going to happen in the next, I don't know, few years. I said to my daughter, I said, well, statistically, I would only have 5 years left. Yeah, I guess if I'm a woman, that's the statistics, I think. But it's like, I don't know. I do know this much, that I always remember, I don't remember where it's at, but I do remember that the Apostle Paul, in one of his writings to Timothy, it was probably 1st or 2nd Timothy, when he wrote to Timothy, and Timothy was young, and Paul said to Timothy, I must become less and you must become more. And I have noticed that as the older I get, I look around at my grandchildren, at younger people, and even great nieces and nephews and things that are going on. I look at them in their youth, in the different seasons of their life, and my grandchildren in the different seasons of their lives. And I think that is a true statement. I must become less and you must become more. And I think it happens to all of us as we get older. The thing of it is, are we humble enough to accept that reality in our lives? It doesn't mean that I'm not enjoying life, and it doesn't mean that I'm not enjoying my family or having fun or finding a particular joy in something. It doesn't mean that. It just means that their lives are ahead of them, and there's big decisions to be made, and there's things to do and experience and to be. And I may not always, by virtue of age or distance or physical condition, whatever the case is, I may not always be able to participate in those things. I may be an onlooker at a distance. It doesn't mean that I don't love them just as much, if not more. It doesn't mean that I'm not rooting for them in their quest and rooting for them in their lives, because I do, even more so than when I was able to physically and participate in that. And believe me, there is something to be said for that. Certainly is. But I pray that I will have the humility to realize that even though age can have its advantages, it also has its disadvantages, and sometimes we just have to be humble and accept that there may be limitations. Does that make sense? I hope so. I hope it makes sense. Sometimes I don't know if I'm able to express what I'm thinking, if I'm able to actually say what's in here. It gets very jumbled up in there. So anyway, I hope that I am and can be that kind of person. Okay? Speaking of which, I want you all to know something. I am I'm very humbled by the fact that you take the time to show up, that you take the time to watch some of my silliness and that you take the time to comment. I'm humbled that you take the time to share a piece of yourselves with all of us and share a piece of your life with all of us. I feel very humbled by that, because I'm really not anyone. I'm a widow who currently lives in Iowa and live in my little house with my 2 cats and a little puppy dog. I'm not really anyone, and yet you take the time to show up, to click on that video on whatever device you have and listen to my ramblings. I will forever be amazed by that, and I will forever be amazed by all of you, because I think you are all wonderful. I really, really do. I really do. That's why I read your comments. I read them, and I click that little heart to let you know I have read them. And sometimes I am moved by what you say, how you feel, your struggles. I am moved by that. And I just thank God for you. And I love that you are here and that you show up. So thank you very, very much. And I hope and pray that we will continue this virtual relationship. Because I don't know what else to call it. I hope that we will for a very long time. Okay? All right. That's it for me today. I love you guys. You know I do. As always, you know that little is much when God is in it. Ain't that the truth? So, I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day. It's great. Oh, just so you know, I got to tell you, if you watch the grocery haul video from Aldi and Dollar Tree, I tried the cat food on the kitty cats. They gobbled it up. So I'm going to have to zip back to Aldi and pick up some more of it. And we'll try that for a while. Cats are so finicky. I don't know why they are. They just are. I thought, beggars cannot be choosers. But they don't care. They don't listen to me. Okay. All right. Talk to me in the comments and we'll visit down there too. And I love you guys. You know I do. And I will see you hopefully on Monday. And we'll see what I can cook up. I don't know. It's a random thing. All right. Love ya.